action, networking, taking it above, bringing value to the conversations that you're having.
As we climb in our journey and we learn, to share that learning with others so that we grow as a community.
Inclusion plays a part in terms of now garnering all those experiences together and creating a cohesive enough team to produce strong performance.
Be visible, comment about it, reach out. Hello. How's everyone doing? Well, I was with you less than an hour ago, and I'm back again. I hope you enjoyed our earlier show, and that you're going to learn a lot, even from this one. This is a really important and special segment because it's about getting prepared. So I hope that the women leaders that were here earlier today empowered you to take the next steps, to believe in yourself, to have the confidence to move forward. Now I'm going to bring to you a job seeker, just like yourself, who was lost but joined us with Destination CEO, and the change that has come in her from where she was to where she is right now, the confidence that she has right now is just absolutely stunning. So without further ado, let me bring her on screen. Hi, Rashmi. How are you?
Hi, Meena. How are you? I'm
Fantastic.
good. Thank you.
Fantastic. So, Rashmi, you were with us in the spotlight not too long ago, right?
Right.
And I remember that was the first time, and you were quite jittery and nervous. And here you are today, and you are going to share what you've learned, and also be a huge part in empowering women like yourself. So I'm going to keep quiet, and today is Rashmi's show. Talk to us a little bit more about who you were, what your journey was, so that the audience can take back tangible solutions. But also, an interesting thing to remember is that many people connect with us with our story. So the story of Rashmi when she came to Canada, the story of Rashmi when she came to Destination CEO, and the story of Rashmi that she is today, that confident woman who's sitting right here facing the camera and ready to share her tips on how to feel more confident. So go for it, Rashmi. Tell us more about yourself.
So, firstly, Meena, thank you so much for this opportunity. And I must congratulate you and the entire Destination CEO family for completing 6 awesome years. I think the work that you are doing is absolutely amazing and phenomenal, I would say. A little bit about me. I moved to Toronto sometime end of 2018. I have over 7 years of experience streamlining healthcare operations, driving process improvements, and implementing healthcare technology projects such as electronic health records, medical electronic health records, and hospital information, implementing hospital information systems for different multi-speciality hospitals, ambulatory setups, and fertility clinics. So this is a little bit about me. And since we are celebrating Destination CEO's 6th anniversary, and the subject here is women empowerment, so before I actually start discussing about how I prepared myself for the interview, one message that if I would want to give to all the women viewers out here is that please don't be afraid to take that break. I mean, that career break, I would say. I decided to take a break when I was at the peak of my career, but I needed some time to, just rejuvenate myself and spend time with my family. And meanwhile, I took that as an opportunity to learn a lot of new skill sets. So don't be afraid, what will happen if you take a break, and nothing will go wrong. You will definitely get a job. So I think that is one message that, I would like to give everyone, as women, we just tend to be so scared that, what will happen if we take a break? Nothing will happen if you take a break. It's just that utilize that time and learn a lot of skill sets, and just believe in yourself.
I'm very much here. I just wanted to put the spotlight on you, so they could hear you. So, what do you mean by take that break and believe in yourself? How can I take a break if I'm in the peak of my career? So, tell us about your break, Rashmi.
Yes, so it was about, I have about more than 7 years, or I would say 8 years of experience. And it was just at one point of time, I just realized it's just work and no play. And that is the time when my son was born. And I had my career aspirations, and my family really motivated me that, no, this is your project. And you really need to accomplish complete these projects. Don't leave it halfway. And that is when I just completed everything, and then I just decided I need to spend some time with my family. And I think it was a brave decision, because there were opinions that, you're taking a break at the peak of your career, what will happen? But you just have to be positive and just go with the flow. Remember, Meena, my first conversation with you, and at that point of time, I just felt, did I do a mistake by taking a career break? Do you remember that conversation that we had?
Of
That was the
course, I do.
first question that I asked you.
I do. I do. And my answer was the same then and it's the same now. We all need to take time.
Yes.
It was interesting. I was watching a movie yesterday, and probably almost all women are going to end up watching that movie soon. Shakuntala Devi, which is the world famous Indian mathematician.
Mathematician, yes.
And one of the things came out is that when we become mothers, we forget that we are also a woman. So,
Exactly.
right? So sometimes we have to play the mother role and sometimes we have to play the woman role, right? We're all humans at the end of the day. We all have aspirations.
Right.
So share about yourself.
Yes. So after it was a conscious decision that, I am taking a break for 1 year, irrespective of whatever the consequences will be. I'll take care of that later. So after that, it's been from last 6 months that I've started with my job applications aggressively. And I was in a position, I was lucky enough to get a lot of interviews. So I was continuously giving interviews, and I went up to almost 3 rounds, I would say. But then, I mean, I would say that I just had enough. I have given enough interviews and have learned many things from my interviews, like what, when, and how to say things, and how it is very important to tell people, get to your point, and get your point registered in their mind. Initially, I was at loss because I didn't know why I was unable to crack interviews. I felt that I was missing an edge. And after discussing with my family, I decided to seek out for help, and to connect with someone who can just listen to me, and make me understand that I'm being the top three candidates. Why am I not cracking the interviews? I realized in the process that uh, doing your work is in your hand, but the outcomes definitely not in your hand. There can be many reasons that you're not selected. So I just wanted to connect the dots, and that is when I met you, and I was part of Destination CEO, and you introduced me to beautiful mentors here. I had the opportunity to connect with so many mentors, and finally, then I met Biju. And I still remember the day, when I messaged him and I asked him that if you can be my mentor and just guide me in the process. I just needed someone to talk to me. And and I think after 2-3 weeks, you introduced me to Pavandeep, and that is how I connected with my amazing mentors. And I mean, in this journey, I started off my journey with you here, and I attended 1 month of aggressive boot camp where you shared a lot of wonderful tips with me. So I slowly and steadily, I just started, comparing what I did and what am I supposed to do. And after 1.5 months of aggressive attending boot camps and talking to my mentors, so initial discussions was just about trying to figure out where am I going wrong, and what is that I'm not doing correctly. And after that, we came up with this 3-step strategy to crack interviews, I would say. So we started off with research. We moved on to how mentors are important in your career, and the last approach was a lot of mock interviews and practice. So I would like to elaborate on all these 3 points. What I actually did that is helping me to crack interviews, and that has boosted my confidence, and
Um,
moreover, yeah,
Rashmi, let me stop you here 1 second. We're not in a rush.
but there's
Okay.
so much to share.
I Yes, and you will. I want to go back because earlier today we had some women leaders sharing their journeys and empowering other women, and one of them was Sana, and Sana shared that a, it was a difficult journey back. So after she had her child and she took some time off for maternity, when she came back to work, it was it was quite difficult, where she lacked that confidence in how to even write a proper corporate email. So now that you're going back, how do you feel? Um, I know that you joined Destination CEO, and I remember each and every conversation I've had with you. But that confidence piece to when you decided you were going to go back, or the decision of, I am going to take this break. Let's talk a little bit about those fears and what gave you that confidence that, yes, now you're going to do it.
So I would say somewhere in the process, so I started off giving interviews without anyone's help. I was new to the country. I didn't know a lot of people here, and so 6 months I was just struggling all alone and doing what I felt was right, and just trying to Google and do things. Uh, and somewhere or the other, I felt that in the process, with giving a lot of interviews and with rejections, uh, you tend to lose that confidence. And so I think there comes a point in life that you may just question yourself. Okay, in your recent position, you were manager and you were heading operations for 8 centers. And what is wrong with you? Why are you so shaky? You can't even tell your elevator pitch confidently, or you can't describe about your accomplishments, something that I am proud of in the span of last 8 years. And so there comes a time that at least for a month, I would say, I was quite disturbed, and my confidence was definitely shaking. And that is when I spoke to you, and I just had refreshing sessions with Biju. So I think initial 2 hours, he was just sitting quietly and listening to what I had to say until he actually figured out where is the problem. So and so I mean, that is how we came up with my elevator pitch. Because I was so I think I would say I was so stranded that I couldn't figure out what next. How do I even describe myself? So I think that was the past. But talking about now, so it took me really good time to get myself out of that framework and just think that I can do it. My career break is not the obstacle, and I need to focus on my strengths. That is what you have been teaching us, and the power of positivity. I think the word I am, and what do you say after that? I am thankful, I am grateful, I am successful. So it defines you. I started working on that what I tell myself after the word I am. So I continuously reminded myself, and of course I was doing a lot of work. Of course I was actually reworking and just started off fresh. So when I joined your boot camp, I told myself that okay, even if I know a lot of things, I will think that it's a fresh journey for me. I will just accept things on a fresh note. And whatever you started teaching me, I started listing down all the tools and techniques that you shared with me. And I also realized that just reading those tools and techniques won't help. I had to sit and actually implement those tools and techniques to see if it's actually working for me. So if you gave 7 tools and techniques, at least 5 worked for me. The other 2 didn't work for me 100%, but the 5 worked for me because I implemented those techniques, and I used it when I was applying for jobs. And it was my journey with Destination CEO was not about many people might think that it's about LinkedIn, it's about resume, it's about no. So I think the first day our boot camp started with how positive you feel about yourself, and it's about your conscious effort. So if you apply for a job but you continuously think that it will not happen for you, it will not work for you, it will definitely not work for you, no matter how good you are. And I have tried that. The minute I had a negative approach uh, towards my any of my interviews, it never worked for me. So I think this is what you've taught me, and this is what my family continuously encouraged me, that Rashmi, you need to be positive, that it will work for you. So I think initial sessions were a lot of brain somebody was just sitting and watching my brain you and I think you have been so patient in listening to me. I've had calls for like almost 1 hour with you, and I don't even know Biju and Pavandeep, they've spent so many hours with me. And considering the fact that they are so busy, they went out of their routine to help me. And even at night 10, 11 o'clock, I could message them and tell them, listen, I have my interview tomorrow, can I give, please help me. So yes, it was not easy, but now when I look at it, my past 2 months, it has definitely been a learning journey for me. And I've learned things which I don't find it on Google. It's trial and experimented techniques, which are unique techniques. Some things that work for me may not work for somebody else. But it all depends on your mentor, on your industry. So a lot of things, but I had to really work on a lot of my mindset before actually going for the interviews. So you can see, even now I am so confused when I am telling you about this.
So let's talk about the 3 steps. So the first step was, or is,
Yes. So my new approach to my interviews were, the first step I would start off with, do your research. So it's important to research the company that you're applying for, and uh, just focus on selected positions. So in a week you don't need to apply for like 30 roles in a week. I never did that. I focused on a good 8 to 10 positions a week, and any good application will take about 35 to 45 minutes. So if you just post the upload the same resume and cover letter everywhere, that will not help you. For me, every resume and cover letter and that every role that I applied for took me good 45 minutes to edit my resume uh, and then submit my profile. So that is something that we should keep in mind. And it's important that don't go by the job titles. Please read the job description. So for example, in my case, somebody may call it as clinical analyst, somebody may call it as business analyst, some may call it as product manager, some may call it as project lead, project manager. So you need to see, just don't go by the titles, and don't open the job descriptions. Read the job descriptions, and you will see that you will have more job titles open for yourself. And you need to quantify your work wherever possible. Numbers will add to your words and highlight your accomplishments. Just mentioning about your what you did will definitely not help you, but you really need to quantify. I did this, I helped them to increase profitability by 7%, I helped them to increase their clinical documentation by 75%. So these are just these are some numbers. I also agree that everywhere you cannot quantify, we try to do that. It really reflects the work that you've done for the organization and what goals have you achieved for the organization. So I don't miss on that. Please add that. And for me, what worked was I ensured that I read at least 2 to 3 industry specific articles, uh, and get myself updated with the industry trends. And I really networked with people. I requested people if I can have an informational session with you, and people were really great. I was lucky enough to meet good set of people, and even if 5 told me no, the other 5 agreed to give me that time. And in the evening, 6:30, someone who's traveling and coming back home, and they just spoke to me for 15-20 minutes. And somebody with my profile, I had a lot to ask them, that how was your journey, what are you doing, what are the tools and techniques that you're using. So I think that was the other thing that boosted my confidence, that okay, what I was doing back in my home country was not different from what people do here. So you tend to gain confidence with every little activity that you do. So don't just focus on the application part of it, I would say. And update your cover letters and resumes as per the JD, most important. Second, I would say, uh, I always believed in having a mentor. I always believed in having that guidance. And when I came here, it took me some time to reach out to people, and I had people were not willing to give me that time, but it's okay. But then you need to be constant with your effort. And that is when I met Meena, Biju, Pavandeep, and I still remember that I wrote to them that can you please be my mentor. And being a mentor is definitely not an easy task, I would say. They have immense passion, and they've gone out of their way to really assist me. And why you should have a mentor. So the first thing I spoke about was the research, how I did my industry research. Second, why a mentor is important. uh, you get a different perspective to things. Their experience, their maturity definitely helps you. You may not realize that, but when you actually start discussing with the mentors, you will see how important it is to have a mentor. It makes you come up with possible questions that can be asked. And there were times that some of the questions didn't click me. So when we just saw the JD, and Biju might say that these are the possible. He actually listed almost 20 to 25 questions for me, and he told, okay, prepare yourself for the you have to prepare yourself for these questions. And while Pavandeep will say, okay, these are the possible set of questions that can be asked to you. So you may not think, but they they may think a lot, and they may give you their share their best ideas with you. It helps to improve the structure of your thought. They've really helped me to uh, how I should really answer to my questions. You don't have to tell the entire story to someone. You have to be to the point, but you also have to ensure that every time you answer, your your answer is connecting to the you are going back to your job description. So you're using those keywords in your answers. And I think more than giving interviews, having a mentor helped me to boost my confidence. And so they've really taught me to be the real version of myself. So thank you, Meena, thank you, Biju, and thank you, Pavandeep. I really can't say how grateful I am, and I am really blessed to have mentors like you in my career. And lastly, moving on to the practice and the mock interviews, I would say. So my mentors really worked hard with me. They had a structure in mind for me. And uh, the only thing they kept telling me is that uh, you need to write your answers, you need to practice your answers. And I don't remember how many times I practiced my elevator pitch, how many times I practiced my accomplishments. And by now, all my mentors know my elevator pitch, and it's by heart to them. And so we often laugh that now more than their elevator pitch, they can talk about my elevator pitch more confidently. So jokes apart, but mock interviews are really important. I So if I had a round today, I had two mock interviews before my every round. So if I gave three rounds, I almost had at least 5 to 6 mock interviews with my mentors. And you have to definitely try this part of it. You just memorizing your answers and going for the interview may help you, but following this approach, you will give you that confidence, and you're connecting the dots. You are referring to all the keywords that are asked in your job description, so your job description has everything that you ask for. So you just have to ensure that you are again coming back to your job description when you're giving interviews. We discussed all the possible questions, so I wrote my responses, we did a mock, and again I edited my answers based on the feedback that I got from them, and I again practiced that answer. So this was my cycle. I prepared in this way for every interview that I gave. And I always and they divided my questions into technical questions and behavioral questions. And uh, and it's about not memorizing your answers. It's just about having a structure in mind, that if this question is asked, your story is ready, or at least, so you don't have to really google your answers. You have to reflect back to your experience, what you have done. And interviews can also include different. So I have given interviews where somebody has asked me to prepare a presentation, somebody has given me a case scenario on the spot and have told me to just present myself. And there can be stress questions, there can be pure interviews. So one has to think on those lines also. It's no more a traditional approach wherein people are just asking you questions and you need to answer the question. You need to ensure that there you feel like that it's a conversation and somebody is really interested in your profile. You have to make it as a conversation. It's not a question and answer session. So this is something that I didn't do previously, and this is something that I am doing now. So just be authentic in your approach. You just have to be confident, and you just have to be authentic in your approach. No faking your answers, and nobody should feel that. Uh, uh, Honestly, I think 6 months back when I was giving interviews, I used to still Google my answers, honestly. But now I don't do that. I write my honest responses. And by the time you give 2, 3 interviews and you have all the questions and you have all the answers in your mind, you end up being confident. And this is what I have learned from my mentors. So, Meena, that's about the 3-step approach, I would say, and I really hoped that I covered everything. I didn't wanted to miss out on anything, and the idea was to just help people, because there are people who are helping me in my journey today.
So, Rashmi, what is your elevator pitch? Let's hear it. Well, because we want others to learn from you and have the smile after
No,
the
Meena, you're
interview.
not doing this with me on live.
Let's hear your elevator pitch. Let the world know who's Rashmi.
Okay,
You never
so
know, your future employer might be listening.
sure. So, yes. So, hello everyone. I'm Rashmi. I am passionate about people, processes, and healthcare innovation. Uh, I am I am someone who loves resolving complex workflows. My idea is to simplify my processes for my doctors, nurses, business leaders, and all the stakeholders that I am working with. And over the span of 7 years, I have streamlined operations for a chain of hospitals and have completed process improvements for them. And I have ensured that while implementing healthcare technology projects and making them, so my recent role was that I had to make the hospital paperless. So we went on from manual paper charts to electronic paper charts, and the idea was to meet their end key metrics, achieving their financial goals, clinical roles, and organizational roles. And one of my proudest achievements, I would say, for the 8 centers was that I could really reduce their system audit queries by 60%, increased their clinical documentation by almost 75%, and the centers had about 7% profits. So for 8 centers, we had monthly profits of 7%. And because it was all about standardizing for 8 centers, right from standardization of the reports, standardization of the nomenclature, standardization of the tariff. So I think this is the accomplishment I am proud of. And the end objective of my work was that I can help the patients and ensure that they have quality of healthcare at the end of the day. So whatever key metrics you have boils down to what are you really doing to make that difference in the life of the patient who is coming to your hospital, and how are you actually making a difference in their journey. So I am proud that I have done that, and my patients have benefited from what I have done. And they would always want to come back to the organization I worked with, because we streamlined the processes and we made the journey so beautiful for them.
Thank you. I was a part of the masterclass, the interview masterclass that both Sina and Biju facilitated. And I remember them specifically talking about certain terminology that you must edit. So, in terms of think versus. So, let's talk a little bit about those words that you changed in your vocabulary that made you feel more confident. What were some of those words?
So I don't know if I've used them today again.
Yes, you have. That's why.
So please ensure when you are going for an interview and when you are responding to your employers, be confident. Don't use the words I feel, I think, I can. Don't do that. I've not done that in my interviews for sure. But I think continuously remind yourself that you can do something, you have the capability of doing something, and you may be shaky, you may lose your confidence in the process, but I think you have to do it for yourself. Nobody will do it for yourself, even if somebody will guide you, train you. But at the end of the day, it's a mind game. It's your subconscious effort as to what you want to do with your life. So I have stopped using these words in my interviews. I am really particular about not using it. And I remember when I gave my mock interviews with Biju especially. He'll say, "Start over again. You're not using that word. Start over again." So I think one question I might have answered 5 6 times till the time I got that perfection, and it registered in my mind that I'm not using those terms. So please don't do that.
So you said research, and research doesn't mean just looking at the websites,
Right.
right? You talked about reading up articles, Googling companies. So any particular articles or sites you may want to mention?
In healthcare industry, I started following all the top healthcare technology companies, and since it was a virtual setup, and I was really curious to know what's happening today. Are we doing things differently, or it's the same? So somebody like me who has worked in virtual space also, and have also trained people on the job, but I've also trained people virtually. So it was just about connecting the dots and doing my gap analysis, that uh, just to be confident that do I know everything, or am I lacking something. So when I started reading these articles, I read about a lot of statistics, how people are doing. And it was interesting to see that the appointment system now, it's no more that you just take an appointment online. When you book an appointment, you have to sit in your car. So there is a doctor who's I'm just giving you an example. There's a doctor who's waiting for you, but the provided one patient appointment is completed, the other patient is supposed to sit in the car, and then they will sanitize the entire thing, and then the patient is supposed to come. So the patients are not sitting in the lobby today, patients are sitting in their cars. And some statistics that I would say is that in Canada, in the month of April, there was a project called as Rapid Response that was implemented. And in that, it was surprising for me that almost 86% of the physicians have access to the electronic medical records here. That means 60% of your consultations are happening virtually. It's not happening. So the telemedicine, the virtual things, and the online appointments have taken a boost. And I read about articles wherein companies just told that one Friday we decided that we want to make things virtual, and from Monday, how they just went taking the entire organization virtually. But honestly, nothing of it has really impacted. And the hospitals don't want the healthcare IT companies and the vendors to visit the hospital unless it's actually needed. So it was interesting to read different articles, different interesting to see the approach, that how are these electronic medical records implementations happening now, how are the IT companies talking to their customers now, how are they coordinating. But uh, I think this is the time to change. It was just a perception that the healthcare industry can't work virtually. You can definitely work virtually. It saves a lot of money for the organization. I have read articles wherein 30% of the cost was saved flat by people not traveling and just connecting virtually. So and I think it's possible. So this pandemic has given some positives also, I would say. We are focusing more on the negative part of it. So read industry articles specific to your industry on LinkedIn. Follow those companies, go and follow the company websites. And even if you can't read the article that moment, I used to literally save that article, and whenever I had time, they are just quick 5-minute articles, but read. So when you go for the interview, you're not just boosting about your accomplishments, but you're telling them that you are updated with what's happening, and you have not done something differently that happens in your country. You are, I think that builded my confidence.
Your mentor is sending you messages, as you can see. We miss you, our mentor, because he's my mentor too. And I'm really proud of that. So, would you like to share a couple of questions that may have come? You've been interviewing a lot, and you recently had some really great interviews. So, we're looking forward to your success news. But a couple of a couple of questions that you've regularly had that you'd like to share with the audience that they should prepare. May not be as industry specific, but
Right.
more on the generic side.
So if I don't have to focus on the technical part of it, a general question, I would say that you need to really think about your elevator pitch. What is your elevator pitch? And your elevator pitch should pass on that message, and it should include your accomplishments and your success story. Number one, uh, have your stories ready. What were your challenges? And it's not about just telling them about the challenges, but how you overcame those challenges, and how it was a success, and how the organization actually benefited from those challenges, and how you've learned from your experience. So have that story. So some may call it as star stories. So it's up to you. It's just about listing your challenges. It's the way you want to do it. So I think these were two common questions that I always prepared myself with. And other than that, I think nobody asks you about your strength and weakness today. Be prepared, you may have peer interviews. So when you have and talk about your passion. That there is this one question that You will be asked continuously in all the stages why you want to join an organization, and you have to really express it well, why you want to join an organization. You just don't have to say, I want to join an organization because my experience aligns with the job role. That's not People don't want to hear that today. You have to go above and beyond, and you can only do that when you really take that effort to read about the company, their accomplishments, their success stories, the projects that they have worked on. So these are the three common questions I would say. Prepare yourself, because your challenges will cover a lot of questions, your accomplishments will cover a lot of questions, your elevator pitch will cover a lot of questions. And while you are giving interviews, ensure that it's a conversation. Nothing of it that I have shared today I have learned in a day's time. No, I have spent last 2 months just learning these little things. So every little thing that you do when you're talking to your when you're giving interviews, uh, go back to your JD, connect your answers to the JD. And you just need to reflect your passion. And as Biju tells me, the power of my words, I have to ensure that it gets registered in somebody's mind. And I think just do that, and practice, write down your answers. So uh, there is no shortcut to this. There's definitely no shortcut to this. You have to really spend hours and hours. And uh, I think if you are really passionate about achieving your goals, you will do it. And I no more just read the job description and go for my interviews. I really prepare myself. So when somebody calls me for an interview, I don't tell them I'm available tomorrow. I take at least a day's time to prepare myself before I go for the interview. So just prepare these 3 4 top questions, and after that you need to focus on your technical questions that can be asked. You have everything in your JD. You remember Meena Sina telling us how simple things she pointed out about the company's culture, and how we just focus on the other points and we just miss out on the how is the company's culture, and we never even talk about the company's culture when we tell them that why I want to join that organization. Simple things. Continue to ask the interviewer that is there something else that you want to know? Have I clarified all your questions? Do these things. And I've learned these things from my mentors. So giving this uh, tips in front of my mentor who's actually taught me, I don't know. So she's the one who's taught me. My journey started with her, and today I am sharing these tips in front of her. I don't know if I'm capable enough to do that, sharing a space with her. So but this is what I have been doing. And reach out to me if you have any questions, and if I can help you in any way, because I couldn't have achieved any part of it all alone. I have people who are helping me in my journey today.
So finally, those are some great tips. So if we were to recap, research, not just look at websites, research
Right.
the company and all of their social media channels, and Google information and articles. Find yourself a mentor who
Important.
is just as passionate as you are about your success. So in our case, we have Biju Misra, but we're not going to share him with everybody. Sorry. Yes, Biju Misra is watching us right now. But in our case, we have so many amazing mentors. This Pavandeep, who works at North York General Hospital and volunteers his time helping everybody and anybody that is part of Destination CO within the healthcare field to help them grow and get prepared. And finally, it's about practice. So mentors can guide you, mentors can help you. We can give you the tools, but if you're not practicing, if you're not applying, if you're not confidently using them, then all of the work that we do is going to be wasted. So if we've learned anything from Rashmi's journey, is yes, there are going to be ups and downs, and no, taking a break um, is not a bad thing. Having a family is the best gift we can give ourselves and our future world. And having a great mentor, believing in yourself, being confident, stop criticizing yourself, stop being your biggest enemy. Um, empower yourself, surround yourself with people who care about you, and you will always, always be successful. But if you don't believe in yourself, then unfortunately, regardless of what we do, or we say, or we give you, or we teach you, it's all going to be in vain. So, Rashmi, thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
Meena.
yes, I agree with what Biju says. Mentors learn from you too. Your energy, your positivity, your attitude makes us feel good about ourselves, that we did something right, right? And we learn that hunger back from you. I was and I think you've watched that movie too, where many a times when people are in their jobs for the longest time and they go up the chain, they forget what it was to be passionate about their job, because they've been doing it for so long. They forget that. And when somebody like you comes along and shows that passion, you reignite that flame in us as well. So thank you for that. I hope that everybody that's watching the show today has made notes. If not, the recorded version is always there, of course. But that they've learned from you. And Rashmi, you're going to come back again to share your success story very soon, right? I'm hoping in this empowerment week, but if not, very, very soon.
I hope so,
Yes.
and yeah, I'm pretty positive about it. But this was not possible without you, without Biju, without Pavandeep. They have been my strength throughout my journey, and I have never thanked my family. So today on public forum, I would really tell them thank you so much. It was not possible without my parents, my husband, and definitely my 3-year-old son, who was really really who showed a lot of patience with my continuous calls. So I think nothing is possible, and it takes a big community to actually help you and guide you to where you want to go. So I would just wish everyone all the best, and please have a mentor. Please reach out to people. You may have rejections, but there will be someone who will tell you, yes, that I will be your mentor. So don't be afraid of rejections. Nothing will happen. You can just do it. That's what I have learned from them. So thank you, all of you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And yeah, viewers, you're not alone. And if you're feeling lonely, join us. As I said, this is our Empowerment Week. We're celebrating the 6th anniversary, the 6th birthday of Destination CEO. And we're gonna have speakers this entire week, every day from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Many leaders are coming together and sharing their journey. Tomorrow, we have an absolutely phenomenal panel, and we're talking about the challenges that's happening in the Black community. And they're coming in, they're talking about the different challenges. We're hearing their voices, and it's not just the Black community, it's the community of persons of color that are also struggling. So please join us back again tomorrow. Thank you very much. And oh, if you haven't noticed, the Empowerment Week finale that is happening on Saturday, August 15th, which just also happens to be the Independence Day of India and my mom's birthday. We are having an entire day of master sessions. 12 of our mentors are coming together, and they are going to do absolutely free. They're giving you a preview, a 20-minute session with each of those mentors. They're giving you a preview of what their master sessions are like. It's a donation-based event. Every dollar counts. it's not about the money. We would love to raise funds and donate to the Daily Bread Food Bank. So the Eventbrite is already set up. If you haven't seen it, please go on our channel. Please go on our Destination CEO LinkedIn page. Check it out. Join us. Take this opportunity to empower yourself. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I can assure you one thing. You're going to be so entertained that taking a bio break might be difficult for you because we don't have time for those. Anyways, thank you so much. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned from Rashmi. I hope you learned from the leaders earlier today. I'll see you back tomorrow. Have a phenomenal, phenomenal start of this amazing week. Happy Monday, everybody. Action. Networking, taking it above, bringing value to the conversations that you're having.
As we climb in our journey and we learn, to share that learning with others so that we grow as a community.
Inclusion plays a part in terms of now garnering all those experiences together and creating a cohesive enough team to produce strong performance.
Be visible. Comment about it. Reach out.